Do you want a story too? Yes, a story about a little boy and a little girl. So do you like a story about a little boy and a little girl? And they were walking home from school one day because the bus driver let him off at the wrong place. But the little girl, who was very smart, always very brave, she took the hand of her little brother and said, "Don't you worry, Mikey. I'll get us home safe and secure." She really wasn't afraid at all. But her little brother, Mikey, was a little bit afraid because he'd never walked that far before, because the bus used to leave them off right in front of their house. And that was fun, and it was, even if it was raining, they would just have to run real fast and their mommy would let them in the house. And sometimes if the weather was really nice, they would stop to play for a few minutes until their mom said, "Kids, you out there playing?" "Yes, Mom, we are, but it's fun out here." "You better hurry up and get in here and take your shoes off and get a snack." "All right, Mommy," said Michael. Mikey used to call him, because he was little, but he was kind of afraid too, so his big sister, named Patty Cakes. Patty was her real name, but she used to always take Mikey's face in her little hand and pat it like this and say, "You little Mikey Cakes." And he would say, "Oh, don't do that, sister, because it makes me look like a little boy, and I'm going to be a big, strong Boy Scout someday." She said, "Okay, Mikey." And Patty Cakes, that's what she would do. So she said, "Well, just walk down here, and we'll walk to the house." So she walked down the block, and when she got in front of her house, she looked around, and guess what? The house wasn't there. She said, "Wait a minute, maybe we've been caught in some kind of a science fiction space RoboCop time machine quarkometer." "I'm scared, Patty Cakes. What are you going to do? Are you going to wish a car here and drive us home?" "No, I'm too little to drive," she said. Mikey said, "Please, I'm going to start crying." And she laughed a little bit. "What is there to cry about? We're right here. We're just probably made a wrong turn. We'll get home in just a minute." So she took his hand and she said, "Let's walk around the block." And she walked around the block, and every time he stopped, that darn kid kept playing in the rain and the water and getting his feet all wet. She goes, "Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble from my mommy if I don't make this boy." So what happened is he said, "We better hurry up and get home because I have to go potty." So she said, "Well, let's go to the neighbors and ask them if you can go potty there. Does Mikey have to go potty?" "Okay, hurry, run, go potty, and we'll wait. Hurry, run." "Here, children. Here, you can have a little chocolate chip cookie, if it's okay with your mommy, while you walk home. Get in bed and hurry up." So Patty Cakes took the cookie and she walked out the driveway. And she looked on the back of that cookie and she said, "Mikey, don't eat it. Don't eat it." He had a bite already in his mouth. She said, "Spit it out." He shook his head. "No.
Get in bed.
Like it was really good." And he wanted to eat it. She goes, "Spit it out. We don't know what's in there." He said, "Mm-hmm." So she made him, held his nose so long, he had to spit it out. She said, "Look at this cookie. What's wrong with it?" She turned it over and looked on the back. There it was. Picture of bloody bones. Maybe we should go back and ask Mrs. Wilson what was on that cookie. It was a homemade chocolate chip cookie, but now there's a picture of bloody bones on the back of it. The little And Mikey said,
Ender, go sit down.
I don't care what you do, I want to eat that cookie. So if we can't eat it, you can hurry up and go back there and ask Mrs. Wilson so I can hurry up and eat it. So they walked back up the driveway to the house and
Ender,
knocked
go get in your
on the door.
Go get in your bed.
Whoa.
Where was Mrs. Wilson? Patty Cake said, Mikey, where's Mrs. Wilson? She was here a minute ago. She said, knock a little bit louder, Mikey. She knocked a little bit louder. Nobody came to the door. She peeked into the window. She looked inside. There was nobody there. Wait a minute. If there was nobody there, then who was it that just gave him this cookie? Maybe it was Mrs. Bloody Bones. Knock one more time. Hello? Who's knocking on my door, little children? Did you like my cookies? I saw you take a bite. Now you'll be mine forever, because the poison of Bloody Bones is inside the cookie. Oh, Patty Cake said, I'm so glad I made you spit that out. She said, let's run. Come back, little children, come back. Eat those cookies. Come back, come back. They turned around and ran out to the street. They ran down the street as fast as they could. Look, there was the school bus. She jumped out, put her hands up front. Stop, stop. The school bus driver says, what is it, Patty Cakes? What's the matter? What's the matter? Why didn't you go home when I dropped you off? She said, you dropped me off at the wrong place. And the school bus driver says, what do you mean? You didn't even get on the bus at the school. We've been looking for you. You must have got on the wrong bus. Did you get on the Bloody Bones bus?
Mommy.
And she said, maybe we did. Hurry fast. She jumped in the school bus. The school bus driver drove straight to their house, let them out. Their mommy was standing there. And she said, Mommy, Mommy, you'll never believe what happened. Mrs. Wilson is a Bloody Bones monster, and he gave us this wicked, horrible poison cookie. And Michael almost took a bite, and he was going to be poisoned and dead and everything. She goes, slow down, slow down. Now, what's this about a cookie? So she opened up her backpack and looked inside, and there was no cookie.
I can't.
So she went inside and said, I'm not feeling too good, Mommy. She goes, fine. I thought maybe you wouldn't be, so I made you some fresh chocolate chip cookies. And you and Michael can come up here, sit down and eat some with a glass of milk. And Patty Cakes turned to Michael. She put her hand on his cheek and says, oh, isn't it so good to be home? It's so good to be home away from that. And that's what really happened.